My name is Morgan MacArthur, and it has already begun. I have had 2 nominees tonight. Lovely people. They've looked at me and they said, "So, what part of Sauk Prairie are you from?" And I said to the lovely Darlene Ballweg, I said, "Mrs. Ballweg, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not from Sauk Prairie." And in the nicest possible way, she just raised an eyebrow as if to say, "You ain't from around here, are ya?" I've come from over the hill, friends. I've come down from Baraboo, and when you look at Baraboo in the rearview mirror, it says Uberab. And I have my Sauk Prairie visa. It's a short-term visa, but I have my visa, and I realized, hang on, there's a lot of similarities between Baraboo and Sauk Prairie. There are 2 municipalities in the Baraboo area. There's Baraboo and West Baraboo. And you've got 2 municipalities here, but we've only got 1 zip code, and you've got 2. That's interesting. Your river's bigger than ours, and it's prettier. Interesting. So I'm delighted to be here and to be your master of ceremonies this evening. It's a privilege, actually. I work for the UW Extension for Sauk County up in Baraboo, and my job, my business card says Community Development Educator, and that can mean any of many things, but this is right in my wheelhouse. I'm privileged to be the facilitator for the Sauk County Institute of Leadership, which is a ton of fun, and exposing people to various corners of the county, and this is a great one. So I'm delighted to be here. I've come across a quote that says, "Community is much more than belonging to something. It's about doing something together that makes belonging matter." And I think that's appropriate for this evening because we're celebrating people that have made this community what it is today, and that's great. The initiative to celebrate who we are, Carol May, of all people, Carol May, who's on the community, on the committee, she said, you know, even people that move into this community feel something. There must be something in the water. There's something in the community because we all feel inspired to give. And there's a lot of giving that went on, a lot of this. We've been planning this for months, and tonight's the night. So isn't this fantastic? I'll tell you a little bit about what's to come, and then I'm going to introduce the dynamic duo to tell you about the award tonight, or the awards, plural. So we're going to have a few comments from local luminaries, Fritz Wittenbach and Cliff Thompson, and they were key to organizing this banquet. We're going to have a sumptuous dinner served right here at the Dorf House. Isn't this a fantastic institution? Yeah, thanks to the Dorf House. Then we're going to have the awards portion of the program, and at the very end, we're going to have a live auction. None of this silent auction business, right? We're a loud and proud community. Why be silent about the auction? We have brought an auctioneer who, like myself, ain't from around here. She's come all the way from Waukesha tonight. So Jenny Gale is here to conduct the auction for us. So it's going to be a ton of fun, but now it is my privilege and pleasure to bring to the stage the dynamic duo of former Superintendent Cliff Thompson and Mr. Sauk Prairie, Fritz Wittenbach. So ladies and gentlemen, thunderous applause.
Fritz and I are honored to be able to welcome you to the inaugural Sauk Prairie Community Service Award, evening in which our whole goal was the privilege to bring you all together to be able to celebrate our people and our community. A story before my dear friend gives you the details of the people that have had the privilege to be part of Fritz's team. Fritz and I had the opportunity to be part of a gala right during the holiday season with Marietta Reuter, and we were so honored to be part of that team for Culver Community Park. And when we got done with that, one of the things we talked about is how could we expand the greatness and the goodness and the generosity of that experience. So Fritz said, let's think about it. So he met with Tawana German and said, we are thinking about doing something similar to what the Chamber does, and to be able to have conversation with two great leaders like Marietta and Tawana set Fritz in motion to invite me to be a teammate, as I am tonight. And so here's where the story goes. In February of 2024, we drove to Richland Center, a beautiful community, striving to match the greatness of Sauk Prairie, and they did in so many ways. And we met with Mitch Cosgrove, who works with Making a Difference. And what they talked about was how to honor the people of Richland Center. And Fritz and I listened, and we gathered as much information as possible, and that led us to, should we think about expanding on the format of honoring Sauk Prairie and its people into the future, and really specifically focus on that. Fritz, being who he is, said, let's be patient, let's pause, and if we're going to do this, hang on, because this is Fritz. He said we're going to do this as a team, and we're going to do it right. We are going to make sure that if we honor our community and people, it is done in such a special way. So tonight is the culmination of, and Fritz will introduce the committee, and he'll introduce the sponsors. And I was so grateful to be in that truck that day when he said, let's do this. So I close with this and ask you to join me in a warm welcome for Fritz when I do. He said, it's very difficult to talk about Sauk Prairie unless we live it, unless we honor the people who were either born, raised, stay here, or those that are welcomed at some point in their lives. But we are Sauk Prairie. Fritz lives that, he believes that, and tonight is the culmination of honoring our great people. Fritz, it is an honor to have you introduce our people, but we want to honor you first. We love to do the 1, 2, 3 clap. And if we could please, and you know what's amazing? So many of you know this. Fritz, this is to honor you, your committee, your sponsors, for doing all that you've done and will culminate tonight in the greatness. Final thing, Fritz's attitude is everything, is his key phrase. During our journey together, his second key phrase was, the best is yet to come. My friend, a Sauk Prairie 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Fritz, we love you. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Cliff. I want everybody to know I helped Cliff write that. So he didn't think he made that up on his own. So first of all, I want to welcome everybody here. It's so great to see everybody here celebrating Sauk Prairie. You know, I'll start out with a quote that if you want to touch the past, touch a rock. If you want to touch the present, touch a flower. If you want to touch the future, touch a life. I don't know how many lives our nominees have done, but they have touched so many. When we started this, we decided we were going to involve all 4 service clubs. And that includes the Sauk Prairie Optimists, Sauk Prairie Kiwanis, Sauk Prairie Lions Club, and the Sauk Prairie Community Club. So we wanted to ask each club for 2 to 3 members. And truthfully, you know, when we did that, we probably didn't know exactly what we were going to do. And that's all right, because my wife says you don't exactly know what you're going to do you? And I live by that. You know, I want to introduce, when I mention your names, would you please stand and hold your applause till we get to the end? For Sauk Prairie Lions, Leon Middum, Lou Dillon, Jerry Feeney. For the Sauk Prairie Optimists, Carol May, Sean Lurch, Cliff Thompson, Sauk Prairie Kiwanis, Gary Quam, Scott Ballweg could not be with us, and for the Sauk Prairie Community Club, Pam Wagner, Susan Felson, and Stan Tice. So you give them all a big hand. And I also want to mention that this wouldn't happen without the sponsors. And then when we went to ask sponsors to sponsor this program, you know, it was really a leap of faith on their part. Because being the first time, they didn't know if we were what we were gonna do, but they were willing to do that. So I wanted to just read off the sponsors. If you're here, raise your hand. That'd be great. Banquet Prairie Sac, CK Consulting, Culver Franchising, Fair Valley Performance and Repair, Kramer Brothers, Quick Fix, Oarsman Capital, Prim Meats and Catering, Sauk Prairie Healthcare, Sauk Prairie Area Chamber of Commerce, Sauk Prairie Healthcare Foundation, Tools of Marketing. And I want to stop right there and say Marietta graciously donated when we get to the dessert. That's all Marietta, so thank you. Universal Dine Stamping, and we also had 2 anonymous donors. So again, thank you for taking that leap of faith. And I want to remind everybody that we have some auction items, and 100% of everything we make tonight goes towards the Sauk Prairie Healthcare Capital Campaign Fund. So you can bid high, and there won't be anybody here that'll slow you down. Again, this is a service group. We want to honor those people that have made Sauk Prairie what it is. I want to close with this. This is probably my favorite saying. It comes from Mark 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Fritzy. So, as this event was taking shape, we discussed community service pioneers in the Sauk Prairie area, and one person stood out as a true pioneer, and that would be J.S. Tripp. Look at that beard. You know, what's old is new, all right? Jedediah Stevens Tripp was born in upstate New York in 1828, and he died in Prairie du Sac in 1915. He lived for 87 years. And for any human to live to that age in those times that were pre-vaccination, pre-antibiotic, no radiographs, primitive anesthesia, and no orthopedic center of excellence in Sauk Prairie, how do you do that? Mr. Tripp outlived 2 wives, 1 child, and his parents-in-law, and that is remarkable resilience. But wait, there's more. What he did with his 87 years is nothing short of amazing. I'm reminded of a poem called The Dash by Linda Ellis. And the dash refers to the line between the birth date and the date of death on the headstone, and we're all gonna have one. And a stanza from that poem that is meaningful to me is, "For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash, What matters is how we lived and loved and how we spend our dash. So Mr. Tripp was the second of 9 children out there in upstate New York, and from an early age he was smitten with the power of education. The local country school was sort of an intermittent, sputtery deal. It was on again, off again, and he wanted better. He wanted to attend an academy, which was the equivalent of a boarding school. Now, his family was poor, but it was there were a lot of them in the brood, a big litter. And he struck a deal with his poor farmer father and his older brother to be allowed to go to the academy. The deal was that his brother would pick up his chores, and his dad would have to give him his blessing, but no more because they had no money. And so off Jedediah, soon to become J.S., because A, Jedediah was too much ink to use. Jedediah, that's 4 syllables. And bullying is nothing new. The kids were picking on him because he had that long name, so he just shortened it to J.S., J.S. Tripp. So he'd have to go it on his own at the academy, and he did, earning money by sacrifice, teaching, and tutoring. And after his basic education was completed, he went on to get a law degree in upstate New York. Now, back in the day, there was a buzz about opportunity in this new territory, this new state of Wisconsin. And J.S. headed west from New York State to go to Baraboo. Great place to go, right? Yeah, I didn't know him, but he went there as a young lawyer. And he worked with a cousin of his for 2 years, and then he said, you know what? I think it's better over the hill, and so he came down here to Sauk City. And he practiced here. He was popular, he was proficient, and he was prosperous. But what's really impressive is his history of civic contribution at a local and state level. It's amazing. And I'll just give you the bullet point highlights. He was the postmaster at Sauk City for 8 years, did that postmaster thing in his law office. He was elected to the Wisconsin Assembly at age 34 in 1862. He was the town clerk of Prairie du Sac for 16 years, president of Sauk it's getting silly, isn't it? Sauk City Village Board for 8 years, village president of Prairie du Sac for 16 years. You know, he could have been the original consolidator, but something didn't happen. The member of the County Board of Supervisors for Sauk County for 15 years, chairman several times over. But such was the trust that he built with the locals, he would hold money for farmers in a safe in his office. And eventually he realized that, hang on, I'm more of a banker than I am a lawyer, and so he swapped. He said, yeah, in fact, I am a banker, and he organized and built the Sauk Bank in Prairie du Sac. He was part of a delegation that was instrumental in bringing the railroad to Sauk Prairie. Years later, in about 1907, he went to the state legislature, all of his old buddies at the state legislature, to obtain a charter for the hydroelectric dam in Prairie du Sac. The dam was built, and the tax revenue that it generated went on to support the building of a high school, auditorium, and a swimming pool in the community. Auditorium and the swimming pool are still here. So he was generous. He gave time, talent, and treasure to many local causes. He donated $10,000 back in the early 1900s to build a library and a city hall, and that building still stands. And today it is the Tripp Heritage Museum, a lovely building. And once built, he provided the books and the furniture for that building. He died in 1915, the year that the dam began operation. He was an ardent supporter of education from a young age. His will included an unrestricted gift to the University of Wisconsin that went towards building dormitories on campus. Many of you will be familiar with Tripp Hall on the UW campus, right? So back in the day, he gave $300,000 towards building a dormitory, which was big money, probably a whole lot more zeros in today's money. There is Tripp Commons in the Memorial Union. Again, same guy, same will, $200,000. He's got his name on the Tripp Commons. He doesn't have his name on the Arboretum, but $85,000 went towards the establishment of the UW Arboretum. Cool deal. $10,000 went towards scholarships for Sauk County residents. So you can see he did a great deal with his dash, and that his service fingerprints are all over our community. So, from an article in the Wisconsin Magazine of History in 1927, I quote, J. Stevens Tripp was the foremost citizen of his hometown. I suppose that's plural, hometowns, because he was in both. Loved and respected by friends and neighbors, a man of strictest honesty, performing all private and public duties with scrupulous care. Always modest of bearing and unassuming of character, he taught us all a lesson in true humility. In his death, the villages of Sauk City and Prairie du Sac lost a true friend, one who had always helped in every civic enterprise for the improvement of his hometowns. And so in closing, is it not fitting that we're calling this Community Service Award the J.S. Tripp Award because many of those characteristics are exemplified by the people we are honoring tonight. So many thanks to Jack Barrett, the curator and manager of the Tripp Heritage Museum, who educated me with considerable depth and enthusiasm. So thank you, Jack, and thank you all for coming tonight. It's time for our dinner. We will run a little videotape that was done for the communities of Prairie du Sac, and we'll just call it Sauk Prairie, shall we? For the sake of the Baraboo guy who doesn't have to sort that stuff out. We'll run this video and enjoy your meal, and we'll be back here in about a half an hour.
Bold, collaborative, future-focused. This is Sauk Prairie. Just 20 minutes northwest of Madison, Sauk Prairie is a vibrant community where innovation and small-town charm meet the beauty of the Wisconsin River. With a drive for progress, we're shaping a future that's stronger, smarter, and even more exciting than before. Whether you're a developer, a community leader, or a family seeking your next chapter, come see why Sauk Prairie is the place where possibilities meet reality.
Hi, I'm Ken Waddell. This is my wife, Katie, and we are new residents in Sauk Prairie.
We were really attracted to the Sauk Prairie area mostly because of the school system. We were looking for that small town feel again. For us, it just came down to projection of where do we think this is going? Is this going to be what we want it to be still in 5, 10, 15 years? Is there room for growth, but not such a rapid growth that it loses its charm?
Living in Sauk Prairie, you're only 20, 25 minutes from the Madison area. So for a lot of those type of things, they are still there. But for that small town charm feeling that we were looking for, this way we get really the best of both worlds.
We're not just building homes, we're building futures. From our thriving business parks to state-of-the-art schools and cutting-edge infrastructure, Sauk Prairie is a place where opportunity and quality of life go hand in hand. Our school district is committed to enhancing our facilities while making a positive impact on both the budget and the environment. Recently, we took a significant step forward by installing a 150 kilowatt-hour solar array on the roof of Sauk Prairie High School, generating clean energy and contributing to our sustainability goals. This solar initiative is part of a larger investment exceeding $70 million since 2020 in new instructional spaces, athletic and arts facilities, and vital infrastructure, resulting in modern, efficient, and inviting buildings. However, the most exciting developments are happening inside those instructional spaces. Thanks to a grant from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation and strong partnerships with local employers and Madison College, Sauk Prairie High School is leading the way in innovative workforce development. Our programs are specifically designed to meet student interests and community needs with a focus on advanced manufacturing, agricultural science, and medical careers. Together, we're shaping a brighter future for our students and our community. In 2024, local villages committed over $4.3 million to vital street upgrades, including complete reconstructions and new infrastructure of 5th Street and VFW Drive in Prairie du Sac, and South Water Street in Sauk City. We are being intentional to connect people and places. In a first-of-its-kind collaboration between two counties, the Wisconsin River Recreational Bridge will connect the iconic Great Sauk State Trail with the first leg of the new Walking Iron Trail in Dane County, the 500-foot landmark being built for use by pedestrians, cyclists, and snowmobilers will span a corridor over the Wisconsin River formerly occupied by a century-old railroad bridge. With new businesses and investments driving our growth in Sauk Prairie, it is the place to invest, grow, and thrive. As we celebrate new spaces and beginnings, we also celebrate owners Tricia Robb and Jesse Steinberg, seasoned entrepreneurs from Madison who have brought a wealth of experience and passion to a riverside restaurant venue.
Hi there, I'm Tricia Robb. My business partner, Jesse Steinberg, and I are very excited to welcome you to our new venture, Water Street Social Club. The way I would describe Water Street Social Club is that we really focus on eat, drink, and gather. We focus very much on fresh ingredients. We support local vendors as much as we can. We have music a couple nights a week. We also host trivia nights, we host karaoke nights. The biggest draw of this location was the amazing Wisconsin River. To anyone who's looking to relocate their business or forge a business in the Sauk area, I would say go for it. This community has been so wonderful to us. They're so welcoming. It's such an easy drive if you're commuting, and it's a beautiful location. And I think it's really up and coming. I think that was a big thing for us, is that there's a lot going on here in town, and people are really excited to be in this community, and people are so wonderful, so welcoming, that I would say absolutely become part of the Sauk Prairie community.
With thoughtful investments, a vibrant community, a shared vision for tomorrow, and committed community residents, we're crafting a landscape where businesses prosper, families thrive, and possibilities abound. In October of 2024, we began the final phase of Culver Community Park. Slated for completion in July of 2025, Phase 2 will feature 4 newly constructed turf fields, 2 with lights for evening games capable of hosting baseball and softball tournaments for ages 5 to 17U. A centralized concession stand and restroom area will be at the heart of the Diamond Complex. Residents and visitors alike will also enjoy a new all-inclusive playground designed to provide a fun, accessible destination for all. We also broke ground on a new 14,000 square foot childcare center, a public and private partnership providing care for 168 children across all socioeconomic and ability levels. Although owned by the Village of Prairie du Sac, this center will be operated by the Sauk Prairie School District. This unique partnership will strengthen the bonds between families, schools, and community resources. These new developments are driving more hotel stays, generating sales tax, and increasing foot traffic that benefits our local shops and services. And it's not just businesses that are growing. It's the vision of entrepreneurs who see the potential in our unique history and our vibrant future. At the base of the bluffs, where the Cistercian nuns of St. Ida's once lived a life of quiet contemplation, a new chapter is unfolding.
Welcome to the Abbey at Otter Creek Guest Lodging and Event Center. When we heard about this property, we thought, what a great opportunity to restore, but then also not just restore it and turn around and sell it, but what if we were to create a business that our family would want to be a part of? The carriage house, which is a 2-bedroom house, the farmhouse and the mansion addition really lend itself to being a great place for short-term rentals like Airbnb, VRBO, that sort of thing. I see it as a great place for people to gather as a group. We also have an on-site spa. And so anybody utilizing the space as a group or even just couples, they can come and schedule some spa services. We have 21 guest rooms for the event space, and event space holds about 250 people. I see like corporate events, wedding events, family reunion events on a larger scale. We'll have a bar on site. We'll have a commercial kitchen for caterers to utilize. Even if somebody wanted to have an outdoor event, we'd have space for that as well. A lot of different things the Sauk Prairie area has to offer are all within 5 to 10 minutes of this property. So really it's kind of a great getaway to be able to come and relax and then still be able to go and explore the local amenities.
The Abbey at Otter Creek is more than a new venture, it's a bold testament to the spirit of Sauk Prairie. A place where history is honored, where entrepreneurs are creating new possibilities, and where community thrives by embracing both its past and its future. With every new investment, we're not just building businesses, we're crafting a legacy of growth, of collaboration and of opportunity. Sauk Prairie is where the past and future meet, and the possibilities are endless. Bold, collaborative, future-focused. This is Sauk Prairie.
You guys got it going on. Enjoy your meal. Yeah? I'd like to, at this point, before we start the program, acknowledge somebody very, very important who is virtually invisible in this room until there is a malfunction. So when we do events like this, the first question I and my auctioneer mentor, Jenny, always ask is, do you have professional sound? Because sound system is so vital for us to be able to reach you and to engage for the room. And when Aaron Kipley came and joined us at the committee, and the committee decided, hey, we're going to get Aaron to do the audiovisual, I could have kissed every one of them. I'm not going to kiss anybody tonight, but I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and thank Aaron Kipley of AK Tech Systems. It is so grand when you've got a professional supporting the program. So, this is a little embarrassing for me to tell you this story, but I feel I must because it has something to do with why we're here. A couple of weeks ago, my stepfather, who is wheelchair bound at Oak Park Place in Baraboo, said, hey, my chair has packed up. Well, what does that mean, Harry? Well, he's got one of these little motorized joystick chairs, and it is a lightweight carbon fiber unit, and it folds up like a lawn chair. So it's like a lawn chair with a motor, right? And it folded up, and he could not get it to deploy and stay deployed. So this was critical, and it's a Sunday night. And so I made the diagnosis of what we needed to do. It just needed a few screws and a few bolts. And so I decided at 7 p.m. I was going to go to Menards, and I was going to get the parts, because you can always save big money at Menards, right? So in I went and ended up in aisle 7, fasteners and screws. And I did not want to have to make 2 trips, so I started to gather a collection that would be, somewhere in this collection, it would be adequate, right? I'm not too mechanically inclined, but I knew I needed a 1/4-inch screw that was a 1/2 inch long, and I did not need a box of 50. I needed 2. The closest I was going to get to 2 was 5. And the closest I was going to get to 5 was on the very top. The very top. And those are those little bags with a hole in the middle of them, and they're hanging on the prong, right? But it was at the top prong. And I was reaching for the top prong, fully extended. Look at this form, folks. Turned at the hips, fully extended. But on the way up, my elbow just barely brushed the box of 50, which was perched right on the end of the prong, like it was a mousetrap, right? And I thought, no, not even gonna look. I'm not looking. Slow motion, reach, brush, reach, boom, to the floor. And you know, the packages are such that if you buy the package, you almost can't open it, right? You almost can't open it. But that didn't happen in aisle 7, right? It went to the floor. Gravitation is an undeniable force. 50 screws, 50 bolts, pop, pow. It was as if the Milky Way had been spilled onto the floor in aisle 7, right? Spangly, sparkly things everywhere, and my initial instinct was look in both directions. So do I have to be embarrassed here or not? But you know, there's an eye in the sky. Somebody somewhere, a pit boss somewhere at Menards could probably go, yeah, we've had a big mistake in aisle 7. Clean up your mess, sir. So I'm feeling a little bit of that adrenaline, that little surge, and I'm on my knees now, and I'm cleaning up because it's a hazard in aisle 7. And who walks around the corner but a young mother with a kid on her hip? I mean, this kid is not yet 1 year old, and the mom's not very old, and she sees what I'm doing. Heaven knows what went through her mind. But she got down on her knees with this kid on her hip, and she's helping me pick up the Milky Way of spilled nuts and bolts on the floor. And I said, I can't thank you enough. And she said, I was done shopping. I've got nothing else to do. Happy to help you. Oh, my heart soared. There were 2 of us now picking up this mess. And then the father of the child turns the corner and he sees what's going on. And he too is on his hands and knees picking up my mess. And I said, thank you. He said, no problem. And it harkened back to my days when I was a large animal veterinarian in Idaho. And when you worked cattle, the neighbors came around and everybody worked together, right? There was a sense of something really, really special. And in aisle 7 at Menards in Baraboo, Wisconsin at 7:13 p.m., there was something special going on. I don't have much of a filter between my mind and my mouth, but what came out was the word community. This feels like community, because I had this event on my mind, and the woman didn't miss a beat. The mom with the child on her hip picking up my mess didn't miss a beat. And she said, you know what? You have to be in a community to have a community. And I thought that is just a gift for what we're about tonight, because we've got 15 nominees and 5 honorees of those 15 that we're going to celebrate, and it's all about the specialness that is community. I've been lucky enough to be in these kinds of rooms many, many times because I've got lots of miles on me now. And I know what the energy feels like when people like getting together. And this truly is a celebration of community here, and it feels so good. And I'm not telling you something you don't already know because you felt it too. Hands together for the community that is here tonight, friends. So nominations were solicited through many channels in the community. This is the first ever event, right? The first ever Community Service Award event. And so we canvassed the community, and 15 nominations were received this year. And I think it's important for us all to know about the evaluation process of those nominations. And there were 4 categories. The first category is impact, commitment, and contribution, right? Significant impact on the lives of individuals or the community. Long-term dedication to volunteer service. Second category, leadership and initiative. Demonstrated leadership and passion in community service. Inspired others to volunteer. Identified and addressed community needs. Third category, innovation, enthusiasm, and creativity. Little emphasis there, that was just me. It wasn't spelled that way, but implemented creative solutions to community challenges. Developed unique programs or improved existing ones. Enthusiasm for service is contagious. People want to work with this person. And the fourth category is ethical and welcoming approach. Served with integrity, compassion, and respect. Shares ideas and resources with others. Encourages community participation. So, some of that you heard in the description of J.S. Tripp. And some of that you're going to hear in the short descriptions of the nominees, which I will share with you right now. And we have, I call them runners. I don't think anybody's going to be running in this room, but we're going to be sharing with the nominees the packages of the nominations that came in, because everybody should know what other people are saying behind their back, right? And these people will. So the packets are to be shared in those envelopes. Dr. Thompson, if you would hold one of those envelopes high just to show us that's what they look like, right? And who's the first nominee? It is Darlene Ballwig. There you are, young lady, the one who said you ain't from around here, are ya? Anyway, Darlene Ballwig, and what I've done is excerpted notable characteristics from their nominations. So Darlene Ballwig is an inspiration to women of all ages, a legacy of generosity, oftentimes anonymous. Top business women in Wisconsin, a frequent awardee. Darlene Ballwig, ladies and gentlemen. Second nominee, the late Fawn Breenig. Daughter Wendy Crockett will represent. Wendy, are you here? There we are, thank you. In her nomination, Fawn was a late bloomer. She worked enthusiastically, there's that word again, for 6-8 in a poverty alleviation program. She was a volunteer for Graceway Church in any capacity where she could serve. And service like sunshine. Let's show our appreciation for Fawn Breenig. Nancy Breinig. Sorry, Nancy, we made a misspelling in the program. We moved you up in the phone book. We moved you to a Ballwig, but in fact, we know the truth. Your name is, in fact, Breinig, right? Nancy Breinig is a life-changing teacher. Every teacher's, every educator's aspiration is to be a life changer. Leadership beyond her 31 years of teaching in state and national education associations, and the community education program became a model. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Breinig. She's back there. I didn't say her name right. I didn't say her name at all. Thank you for that correction. I stand corrected. Carol is quick and good at correcting me, has all along, and look, we get along swimmingly. I'm reminded that Chris Ballwig, there you are, Miss Chris, 30 years of servant leadership, 30 years, that's 3 decades of servant leadership with the Sauk Prairie Area Food Pantry, empowering and leading volunteers. And her leadership and commitment has extended a deep reach into the community where the food pantry is serving with dignity in schools and libraries. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ballwig. John Budd. John Budd has positively affected minds and bodies. He was a biology teacher for 32 years. He impacted young people for decades through coaching multiple sports across age and genders. A solid and diverse contributor to his local church in many capacities, notably a St. Stephen ministry leader and trainer. John Budd, ladies and gentlemen. Amy Chamberlain has a passion for the environment, has influenced many young people to love conservation and science, and has propelled many of them into career paths down that track. Has been very involved with Integrated Monarch Monitoring Project and the plight of monarch butterflies. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Chamberlain. Dean Darling, emergency medical technician in Sauk Prairie for 4 decades, for over 40 years. Somebody said he is a fixture in the community. 2012 EMT of the Year, recognized by a National EMT Association. Unable to attend tonight, but we'll clap for him anyway. Dean Darling. Mr. O'Connor, Are you here this evening? There we go. Thank you very much. Tony D. Giovanni, MD. Dr. Tony DG. Pivotal role in establishing the surgical services and standard of healthcare in the community. Started the youth soccer program and stepped in to serve as Sauk County Supervisor in 2019. Dr. Tony D. Giovanni. Bart Mock, avid promoter of veterans through Veterans of Foreign Wars, planner and a doer, a man of action who's always willing. The optimistic optimist, ladies and gentlemen, Bart Mock. Verlin Mueller, curator of the Museum of Badger Army Ammunition. He has a passion for this important part of the community history. Sauk County Historical Society William Canfield Award winner in 2009. Ladies and gentlemen, Verlin Mueller. Nancy J. Passell. Deliberately kind is what someone wrote about Nancy. Joyful community servant. Melvin Jones Fellowship Award, which is the Lions International's highest recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy J. Passell. And she ate all of her vegetables. That's really, really good. That's showing good form. Ellen Paul, tireless volunteer, a passion for philanthropy, and as someone said, she gets projects across the finish line. Thank you, Ellen. John Ramthun. I practiced that name, John, a lot of times. John Ramthun. Making service personal at 6-8 Inc. Selfless and community-focused. Humble. Ladies and gentlemen, John Ramthun. Jeffrey Virchow lives his life as an example of giving. Lots of volunteer presence in the community, and he leads behind the scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Virchow. And our 15th nominee this evening, ladies and gentlemen, she's at the end of the alphabet, but first in our hearts, Eunice Yankee. King Midas Flower Bake-Off winner. Star seller of community club raffle tickets. Decades of contributions to St. John's faith community, and a woman who has a never give up attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, Eunice Yankee. So, of the 15 very worthy nominees, a committee of representatives from each of the 4 service clubs, this is a collaborative effort between the 4 service clubs, which is unusual, friends, reviewed and discussed the nominations. They were tasked with the difficult and unenviable job of selecting 5 honorees for the 2025 Sauk Prairie Community Service Award, aka the J.S. Tripp Award. I'm tripping my tongue on this text. Fritz, if you would come forward with that brilliant tie of yours. In the unlikely event of a failure of electricity, ladies and gentlemen, follow Fritz's tie and he will guide you to the exits. Look at this guy. So, honoree number 1, not a trumpet, it's a tuba. Honoree number 1, Darlene Ballwig. Darlene Ballwig's legacy of generosity and support of numerous causes could go on for pages. Many of her donations over the years have been anonymous. She's been an incredible role model and an inspiration to women of all ages. She took on managing a car dealership just 6 months after the tragic accidental death of her husband Danny in 1984. At that time, there were only 2 or 3 other women in Wisconsin who owned and operated dealerships. She had to learn how to operate in a man's world. She did this at a time when her children were young and her first grandkids were just coming into her life. 5 years, from 1984 to 2019. She also lived on and maintained their beautiful farm property. She was the rock with her great faith when the family experienced further tragedy with the death of both of her sons at an early age. Darlene has received many awards and honors over the years, including Sauk Prairie Memorial Hospital Founders Legacy Award for Outstanding Philanthropist, the Time magazine, that is the Time magazine, Darlene Dealer of the Year, ran that dealership. Only for 60 automobile dealers are nominated from over 19,000 nationwide. It is the automobile industry's most coveted award for car dealers. But wait, there's more. 2011 Brava magazine article entitled Darlene Ballwig, the personal story behind her professional triumph. 2012 Sauk Prairie River Arts Ramona Kramer Founders Award, consistently named one of Wisconsin's top 50 businesswomen, oftentimes in the top 5. And last December, she celebrated her 90th birthday with a live polka band. Ladies and gentlemen, JS Trip Award winner Darlene Ballwig.
Well, thank you very much. This is awesome. And the years have gone by, and they've been terrific. And there's ups and downs, but you just gotta know that you gotta go on. And I've enjoyed this community. I tell you, there's nothing like it. When I first came here in 1956 as a farm wife, Sauk City and Lodi were enemies, and we just went way back. Always was an exciting basketball, football match. But, I've enjoyed life, and one of the things I always remember, and through my trials and tribulations, and I begin the day with saying this little titty, Lord, help me today to know that there's nothing that you and I together can't handle.
Honoree number 2 this evening, Dean Darling. As a lifelong resident of Sauk Prairie, Dean Darling is a fixture in the community. Dean has been an EMT, an emergency medical technician, for over 40 years. It's hard to find someone whose life he has not positively impacted directly or indirectly. Dean sees and helps people when they're vulnerable and continues to do so with professionalism and a good attitude. During his tenure, he's demonstrated leadership through innovation, having helped institute several programs, including funding for defibrillators in all ambulances, Doesn't a car battery just do that just as well? Jumper cables? Sorry. A bike medic program for crowds and events, and formation of a search and rescue team. Dean leads by example. He is seemingly always on call, and he volunteers for many holidays, including bike medic shifts every year for Fire on the River, allowing other EMTs the freedom to spend that time with their families. He has happily assisted the local Cub Scout pack with their first aid-related merit badges, and in 2012, Dean was deservedly recognized as EMT of the Year by the National Association of EMTs for his contributions and service to the community. Dean was nominated for that national award by co-worker Joe Welsh. Joe tells the story that Dean once responded to a call when he was off duty, and he saved a pulseless, non-breathing man by administering CPR before the ambulance arrived. The man he saved was Joe's dad, and Dean was the reason that Joe Welsh became an EMT. Joe says, "Dean is the best EMT I have ever known." Dean's probably on call tonight, and so that's why he's not here, but Matt O'Connell, who was his nominator, will accept the award on his behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Darling with Matt O'Connell accepting. Honoree number 3, Dr. Tony D. Giovanni. Dr. Todd Shad, Chief Medical Officer, Sauk Prairie Healthcare, wrote, "Dr. D. Giovanni has played a vital role in expanding healthcare services in our community. He was instrumental in recruiting Dr. Diana Cruz and Dr. Arnold Rosenthal, the first orthopedic surgeons in Sauk Prairie. Their arrival, championed by Dr. D. Giovanni's vision and leadership, laid the foundation for what has since become a regional center of excellence in orthopedic care. Beyond his professional contributions, Dr. D. Giovanni has been a tireless supporter of the broader community. He's coached youth soccer, actively supported our schools in both sports and the arts, and volunteered countless hours providing free care through the Good Neighbor Clinic. He's led medical missions to Haiti, served as a leader at St. John's Lutheran Church, supported numerous church initiatives and activities, and has served on the Sauk County Board of Supervisors. When I think of a community service award, I think of someone whose entire life's work reflects dedication, not only to their profession, but also to the well-being of the community. Dr. D. Giovanni embodies that spirit. He's given selflessly of his time, talent, and energy, often at the expense of sleepless nights, to make Sauk Prairie not only a healthier place, but a better place to raise our families and to build our lives. And Dr. John McAuliffe piled on with some words of his own. In reflecting on Dr. D. Giovanni's legacy, I'm reminded of a quote attributed to Mother Teresa. "We cannot do great things on this earth, only small things with great love." Dr. D. Giovanni is an exception to this sentiment. Through his unwavering service, compassionate care, and visionary leadership, he has indeed done great things. His patients, his colleagues, and his community have loved and respected him for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tony D. Giovanni.
Thank you very much.
And I would just add, Ford in 1977, been 45 years ago, When Tony was finishing his residency, Dr. Mark Bishop called, and Tony answered the phone on the wall in our kitchen, and I can remember him saying, Prairie du Sac? Like, I don't think we'd been out of Madison. We went south to visit our relatives in Illinois, but it's been a blessing, the community, and we're just surrounded by beautiful people, beautiful, as the night attests to, a beautiful group of nominees. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Honoree number 4, Ellen Paul. Ellen Paul has her finger in many pots, and each pot becomes the better for it. She was a founding member of Sauk Prairie Community Acceptance Now, aka SP-CAN, was president of the Sauk Prairie Optimists at least once, was very active in Sauk Prairie's Theater Guild, is an active food pantry volunteer, was volunteer director of River Arts, Inc., was a volunteer newspaper reporter, and initiated the Optimist Student of the Month and Middle Level Leader programs, as well as Sauk Prairie Solar Schools. She implemented the Celebrate the Season event for the Free Congregation of Sauk County, which includes multicultural winter solstice celebrations. Ellen not only identifies ways to improve our community, but she also puts the effort behind it to find realistic solutions and recruits others to help in her efforts. She uses her extraordinary baking skills to provide goodies for fundraising events and gives them to friends who are under the weather. She's a great volunteer and a friend to those in need. Ellen Paul has been a tireless supporter, volunteer, and promoter of Sauk Prairie. As a retired educator and principal, she sees the needs of young people at precarious points in their growth and looks for ways to celebrate them and help them find their way. She was named a hometown hero by Modern Woodmen in 2019 and received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Chamber of Commerce. And as executive director of said chamber, Tawana German said to Ellen in bestowing that award, Ellen, while you work late into the night when no one is watching, tonight we see you and we thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Paul.
Thank you very much for this award. When I think about coming to Sauk Prairie as an English teacher in 1973 and then retiring in 2007 after being a teacher and a principal, and it's like, I've been in Sauk Prairie for over 50 years, and though I'm not a native, I feel like this is my hometown. And so I just thank everybody in the two communities that have been supportive of all the good things that go on in this community. And this is an exceptional community. So thank you very much.
Our last honoree this evening, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2025 Community Service Award, aka JS Trip Award, is Eunice Yankee. Eunice Yankee is an active 90-year-old with a history of involvement in many activities throughout her life. She has been a servant and volunteer from her early teens until now, although she's the first to admit that she's slowed down a little. She is a strong, faith-filled woman whose outgoing nature allows her to talk to anyone. She encourages others to get involved and work alongside her. She has consistently been one of the top sellers of the community club raffle tickets, which provide scholarships for each class of graduates from Sauk Prairie High School. She might not be in the best of health today. She moves forward with a never give up attitude. Eunice has been an active member of St. John's Church for 70 years. She taught Sunday school and Bible school for many years. She's a member of the American Lutheran Church Women and currently stepped into a co-leader position for a friend who had to step down because her husband's declining health. She's been involved with the Sauk County Fair Board for 56 years. When her kids were very young, she won first place in the King Midas Baking Contest. She's been fair superintendent for the open class food ever since. She loves that job and would hate to give it up. Eunice served as a 4-H leader for 15 years. She also supports the Elks, the VFW, and the American Legion. Pastor Sally Williams said, Eunice definitely represents the values of Sauk Prairie in being service-oriented, connected to the community, and a welcoming spirit to all she encounters. She's a brilliant example of serving with purpose while aging gracefully. Ladies and gentlemen, Eunice Yankee.
Well, what? This one. Oh, for God's sake, Fritz.
That was a good trick. That was going to be a good trick.
I tell you, you never know what Fritz Wittenbach will pull on a person. But it is certainly a privilege and an honor to be considered one of your volunteers. And I'm still very active with the fair. And we have a lot of fun the whole fair week. And even my co-worker this year has not been on the best of health, but she's able to be here tonight. And my family, I have 17 great-grandchildren, and my oldest great-grandchild graduated from Sauk Prairie High School this spring. His name was Paulo Yankee. And what else can I say? I always tell people I do not talk. Yes. Thank you for being honored as a volunteer. Thanks very much.
Eunice, I have a question for you. Are those all of your people up there with you?
Yes, yes.
So I think we're going to have to rename that space the Eunice Yankee Memorial Balcony.
Well, you can name it whatever you want, but I certainly enjoy all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And friends, let's show our appreciation one more time for our 5 JS Trip Award honorees. And also to yourselves for being a part of the pulse of a vital and vibrant community. Because as we're here tonight celebrating people's commitment and their service, it's inspiring and it's an ask for all of us to do something special with our own dash that I referred to earlier with JS Trip, to serve our community and make it the very, very special place that it is, that several people have talked about, and I'm feeling it. All the way from Baraboo, I'm feeling it. So thank you very much and congratulate yourselves one more time. So when the idea of a community service award was floated, a novel part of the organization was that 4 community service clubs collaborated. They got together and said, "Hey, let's do this," which is not common, right? It's unusual, it's novel, and it's inspiring. And so then Fritz also thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of fun to have like a live auction? Why not? We should always have an auction, right? And so then the discussion around the table was what to do with the money. And so originally it was thought we're gonna split it into quarters, into fourths, and it'll go to each of the service clubs for them to do projects in the community. And then on second thought, and there have been a lot of second thoughts along the way, on second thought, look, there is a capital campaign underway for the hospital. And so everybody was in agreement that the hospital will serve everyone in the community at some point. And so wouldn't it be a better idea to take the proceeds of this live auction and apply them towards that capital campaign? It's an ambitious campaign. A lot of really good things are on the planning for the hospital. Expand the birth center, the women's care unit, 4 new operating rooms and 1 procedure room, and expanding primary care access, new clinics in the area. I mean, this is a going machine. You know, everybody talks about going to Sauk Prairie. Yeah, you want a store-bought knee, you want some new hips, you want all that stuff? Pop on down, they'll take care of you. And so the proceeds from tonight's live auction will go to the capital campaign.
I'm Eunice Yankee. Well, I still am active with the 4-H. I go up there. I thoroughly enjoy watching the kids that I had. I was general leader of our 4-H club for many years, and I still enjoy going up that first Monday in June or July when the fair is, and I'm still superintendent of the fair for 56 years.
Hi, my name is Nancy Briney. I am just humbled by the nomination and the recognition. It's really, it's great. It's great.
Hi, my name is Nancy Purcell. I am very happy to be here and very honored to be here. I consider this a great privilege. So I love what I do, and I love working and giving to others.
Hi, my name is Tony DiGiovanni. We're here for this meeting tonight, whatever it is, yeah.
Hi, I'm Darlene Bowig, and I've lived in this community since 1956. You know, it's just, it makes you feel so good if you give. I enjoy the places I've given and help kids along. Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay. Hi, I am Amy Chamberlain, and I am beyond grateful to being recognized today for this great community service award. Without the support of the Prairie enthusiasts, I wouldn't be here. I would say to kids, get involved, get outside, come work with us on Maley Prairie. There's lots of volunteer opportunities, but just get involved and try everything.
500 is bid, asking 600. 500, 600. He's checking his wallet. $500 is bid, 550 one time. 550 there, want to get 5 for 5, want to get 50 going once. 550 going twice. Third and final call, friends, sold. Would you be 675? 675. 675 for 5, would you get $700? Go ahead. 700. Do you all think he should bid again? $700, sir, I really want you to have it. 700, 675 for 5, would you get 700 going once? $700 going twice. Third and final call. Thank you for what you did do. Sold. $675. Roxy Meyer. Thank you so much, Roxy Meyer.
Item number 3.
575. 575. Anybody else? 575. Thank you so much for what you did do. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. So, $550. Ladies and gentlemen, sold to the McCulloughs, $550.
Isn't she spectacular, Jenny Gale? Yep. She makes spending money fun. Well, let's try some more of that. Item number 5, Madison Mallard's Suite at Warner Park in Madison.
I will even do another one. I don't know if I can do it all at the same time, but I will do 2 birthday tubas. And some people ask me, well, how do you describe that? And I said, well, it's original. I'll guarantee you every time I play, it's different. But I will say, our 2-year-old granddaughter thinks I'm the coolest. And that's worth it.
So let's do this. You were generous enough to bid at $2,000. Carol, you were at $2,250. If I dialed you back and gave you, if I put that on sale for $2,000, $2,000 there, $2,000 there, would that be agreeable? Sold it! Times 2, 2,000, 2,000. Thank you very much.